to the Wrestling Nerds Alliance podcast, featuring Robb English, Clifford L. Johnson, and Ed Rowland. Thank you for joining us.
Oh yeah, we're not starting the show off with any shitty-ass back-and-forth promos between two main eventers who want to say some nasty shit but can't because it's PG. We're rated R in this bitch.
Rated R.
Rated R.
You're fucking ugly, Rob, and no one ever loved you.
That's how it goes down around here.
Son of a bitch.
I'm Robb English.
I am Ed Rowland.
And I am Clifford L. Johnson.
And we are the Wrestling Nerds Alliance.
Yep.
So, not too long ago, was it SummerSlam, Ed?
It was SummerSlam.
It was SummerSlam, right? SummerSlam was just, I don't know, 2-3 weeks ago?
Right.
We had a big showdown with the Wretched Wrestling Podcast.
This is true.
We shared some mic time with them, shared some alcoholic beverages with them, shared some laughs is what we did.
Yeah, it was a good time, I thought.
Yeah.
I thought we made friends.
I thought we did too. Apparently we didn't.
What do you got to say about that, Cliff?
I think those guys can suck a whole fat D. That's what I think.
Whole fat D.
A whole fat D.
I thought they were already into that.
Fred
Well,
is.
they are.
Yeah.
Fred
I wouldn't doubt that Craig is.
That's not an insult when it's something you like. That's like saying you have to eat a whole lot of ice cream. Yeah, fuck you.
What,
That's a good point.
Fucking Rocky Road?
That's a good point. So, wait, are you saying that Fred and Craig might be a little bit more than friends?
All I'm
not
saying
gonna
is I've never seen Craig's wife is all I'm saying.
Well, I will say this. I did see her on a recent show. She popped up in their
little camera.
If that was his wife.
Could have been any random female. How are we supposed to know?
Anyone. They could have called an Uber or something, and Uber Eats, somebody came to deliver some food.
They probably kidnapped that poor adorable little child.
Oh.
Oh.
We got to call child services on those
being
fuckers.
the prisoner of wretched wrestling.
But anyways, they on their most recent show, I just popped in because, like I said, I thought we were friends.
Because you're a fanboy.
I'm going to say hi.
I was going to say hi. Popped on their Periscope, watched the show. They started talking shit. I was hurt.
What?
I was offended.
As any rational person would be.
I was
Enraged.
I was really no. No, they wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
Rob Hulk. Smash.
But they challenged us to another showdown.
Oh, really?
They didn't get enough poundings the first time, apparently.
Pause. They challenged us to another showdown at Survivor Series. Obviously, this time we're going to have to set up the equipment on our end. We don't want Craig blowing an O-ring again.
It's okay, Craig. We can do the tech for you. It's fine. You'll be okay.
So yeah, they challenged us. And, I think it's kind of funny that Craig was jumping in so hardcore and all the shit talking that they were doing.
He seems like an angry, angry man.
I can relate. I can relate. Hair trigger has always been a problem of mine.
Stone Cold.
I'm always ready to just fucking pounce on somebody and let them know exactly what I'm feeling. So I can feel Craig's pain. But the difference is that when I get pissed off, I do something about it.
You say that like you have a story to tell.
I have a story to tell, Ed. Cliff, I have a story to tell.
Please,
let me get my blankie.
So, what's the Game of Thrones character? The guy with no balls. Varys. He has his little birds, right?
Yeah. A little bird told you something?
Little bird told me something.
You're bald like Varys, too.
Thank you. But I do have balls. Legendarily large balls. Small dick, but large balls. Anyways, little bird told me a story that I wanted to share here on the show that kind of goes into a bit of Craig's lack of follow through, we'll say.
Follow through.
Picture it.
Please carry on, sir.
I'm gonna get Golden Girls on you here. Yes, I'm reaching back to an 80s sitcom about old white women.
Sicily.
Picture it, if you will.
One of the best shows of all time.
January 2006.
Okay.
New Year's Revolution pay-per-view.
Oh, that was a good one.
Okay. You were there, apparently.
I watched it.
You know who else was there? Craig J. Dixon.
Oh, good for him.
Craig J. Dixon was at the New Year's Revolution pay-per-view, apparently, in 2006. And Craig, being a wrestling fan, he attended the show with his soon-to-be wife. They may have been married at the time. I don't know. I really don't know. That the bird didn't give me this end of the story.
Right.
But he attended the show with his lovely soon-to-be wife. And during said show, a showdown happened between one Gregory Helms and one WWE Hall of Famer, legendary wrestler, Jerry the King Lawler. Do either of you remember this match?
I certainly do not.
Okay, yeah, I didn't either.
Not off the top of my head.
I didn't either. Maybe that makes me a poor fan. But anyways, said match happens. Now, at this point, notice I said Gregory Helms. I did not say Shane Helms or Hurricane Helms, because this was the point when the Hurricane went heel, changed his name to Gregory, and just became Gregory Helms. He was just a guy.
Right.
Yeah, just turned into a little douchebag, didn't he?
That part I remember.
Yeah, his little heel run there.
Yeah.
So, fans of said Gregory Helms were quite impressed and hoping that perhaps the company was going to get behind a talented worker like Gregory Helms.
Of course not.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
I have my favorites. Cliff has his favorites. You have yours. You hope that someday these people shine when given the opportunity. Apparently, at this pay-per-view, one old-ass Jerry the King Lawler defeated Gregory Helms.
Oh.
Now, mind you, he had just turned, so you would think that a win over a legend would be something that was needed for this character. WWE thought otherwise. Upset a lot of people.
The Smarks.
One said person seething with anger was a Craig J. Dixon.
Really?
So much so that he, at that moment, decided he hated Jerry Lawler. He loathed Jerry Lawler. He despised Jerry Lawler. He wanted to put a hurtin' on Jerry the King Lawler.
Okay.
Hoyton.
A hoitin'.
Gonna jump the guardrail?
Well, no, apparently he was held back by his wife. He might have tried.
All right.
Okay. But for the rest of the evening, it ruined his pay-per-view experience.
Wow.
Because he was so hurt and offended by this fact. Now, as I said, this pay-per-view occurred. Craig J. Dixon apparently was so wrought with anger and frustration. He and said lady friend stayed in a hotel that evening. That hotel was also occupied by one legendary Jerry the King Lawler.
Did they meet in the hallway?
Next morning, Craig J. Dixon and lady friend are on about their stroll. Craig still seething over the hatred of Jerry Lawler the next morning, saying to himself, should I ever see Jerry Lawler find young future wife, I'm going to slap that old man right in the fucking face.
Kick his ass.
I'm going to kick his ass. Well, wouldn't you know it, as fate would have it, when one Craig J. Dixon was exiting the hotel, walking down the hall through the lobby area, he encountered one Jerry the King Lawler in a bathrobe, minding his own business, looking for the morning newspaper. This was his moment. This was the moment that young Craig J. Dixon not only was going to right the wrongs of WWE's booking, not only was he going to climb to the top of mountain manhood and prove that he ain't no bitch and set his future wife's loins afire with his manly prowessness. If that's a word.
Yeah,
I'm just throwing it out there. There
I
you
like
go.
that word.
Prowessness.
Prowessness, you're right.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Good job.
Here was his shining moment, his one shining moment. Who knows? If he would have put a hurting on the King, maybe he would have been signed on the spot to be a WWE superstar.
You never know.
Craig, the cracker killer Dixon, coming to a arena near you.
Bo Beaver.
Craig J. Dixon stepped up to Jerry the King Lawler.
Really? In a bathrobe.
In a bathrobe. Craig J. Dixon approached Jerry the King Lawler.
What color was the bathrobe? Did you get that?
I don't know.
Okay.
My birdies didn't
I'm
tell me
going
the
to
story.
picture pink because it's the most hilarious color.
As Craig J. Dixon approached Jerry Lawler, I'm sure lots of things were just boiling in his head as what he was going to say. He approached. He got closer. Closer. The tension was rising, the goosebumps on his arms. Craig J. Dixon was ready to right the wrongs. They locked eyes. At that moment, Craig, ready to pounce on his moment of manhood and slap the piss out of this old man, looked Jerry Lawler dead in the eyes and uttered the words, "Great match, King." Jerry Lawler, seeing said fanboy, just kind of gave him a wave, maybe a pat on his little head, and walked on by. Now, I don't know that this ruined things for him and said future wife. Obviously, they got married. Perhaps it was out of pity for his lack of manhood. She needed to strengthen this man as he got older.
Oh, yeah. I mean, to be fair, I wouldn't want to fuck with a dude if he's just in his bathrobe looking for the morning paper. That's rude. You wouldn't bust in someone's bathroom. Hey, you had a shitty match. You know what I mean?
I'm just saying, I've heard this story.
Yeah.
And I've heard that this story is something that still bothers Craig J. Dixon to this day. So when Craig J. Dixon runs his mouth at us, all I see is that young little fanboy.
Great job, King.
Great job, Rob. Good show, Rob. I listen to you every week, Rob. Yes, you do, Craig. Yes, you do.
Bet you're listening right now, aren't you?
And he's probably shaking with anger, red in the face, ready to pounce on me like a young man behind the counter who spit in his hamburger. That was a Farva reference.
But all who will utter it. Hey,
See
man.
you in November, motherfucker.
Thanks for the burger, guy.
Yeah. Hopefully when I see you in November, you bring a liter of cola. Anyways, let's move on to some news here. Monday's Raw, we saw round 2 of John Cena taking on Roman Reigns in their epic promo back and forth.
Woo!
Wasn't as good.
Why is that, do you think?
Why do you think, Cliff?
I think it wasn't as good because they kind of tried to, emulate the same thing that they did last week.
You ran your mouth like you always do. And you're not as strong, you're not as fast, you're not as good as you say or think you are. So that means you proved me right. Because you're a lying, fake ass little bitch.
You want to talk about questions? Only question Roman Reigns is going to have after No Mercy is how in the hell did this happen? Roman, I'll answer that for you right now. Because you're a conceited, know-it-all golden boy who needs to be taught a lesson in respect.
They just kind of rehashed the same talk points, and Roman stuck with the, punk-ass little bitch line, and, PG, you're saying bitch and ass, and, I can't believe you're cussing on a PG show. It was the same beats, and it was nothing new, It didn't make me feel like, this is getting even more intense. Like, if they would have brought some new shit out, maybe he'd had something else to say about him, it would have been all right. But
what bothered me is you take away some of the shoot-ish aspects of it, take it away from the bullet points, and it was heavily scripted. At least it felt that way. Yeah. And if it wasn't, shame on those men, because some of the shit they were saying was not even close to like, ooh, got you, bitch. It was more like, for real, bro? Like, that's all you're coming with?
Your game is weak.
I mean, John Cena, corny as hell. Oh, here comes Debbie Downer, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Even went so far as to like do a made you look your zippers down line on Roman Reigns.
Which I actually thought Roman had a decent comeback for that.
Yes, he did. I have that written right here. Probably the best part of the promo was potentially an ad-lib moment when he was like, oh, your zipper's down. Roman goes, it's busted, actually, the big dog.
The big dog.
That's not bad.
That was good, right?
Sounds like something I would have said.
To which Cena's retort was, well, actually, I was looking for your balls, but they're not there, so.
In which I would have said almost what Roman said, but I would have just paused him.
Yeah. Roman, on the other hand, said, you would be looking for those. Ooh. To which I tweeted out at that exact moment, guarantee you would be looking for those is cut out of every replay that you're going to find after this. Right. The one part of that promo battle that did work was the end, when Roman basically was like, I'm done talking. You want to do something about it? Here's your moment.
Right.
Let's go. Let's throw down right now.
Right. He basically pulled a John Cena. You want some? Come get some.
And Cena looked like a little bitch and just kind of leaned back on the ropes like, as if I would fight you.
Right.
Not until the pay-per-view, pal.
Just like I thought. You're all talk, John. And that's why I don't respect you.
Kind of made Cena look like a host. So yes, in a way.
So I really think, the only point of this promo was to put Roman over. Because I think the first promo was to put Cena over. This promo was to put Roman over. And then, they'll keep one-upping each other, over the course of the next couple of weeks. And then, Roman will go over at No Mercy because why would he not?
Yeah.
I just hope it gets stronger, you know what I mean?
That's what I was saying. Like, it seemed like I said they were just repeating the same beats, but this time they let Roman get the last word in. And that was pretty much it.
Yeah.
So it was just like, okay, yeah, same shit.
We'll hit shuffle and repeat, and it's no big deal.
Exactly.
Speaking of hoping people get stronger, we're going to talk about a strong person right now. We're going to talk about Braun Strowman.
How is Braun doing?
Exactly. Braun Strowman took on Big Show in a steel cage on Raw. Did you see this match, Ed?
I did not catch any wrestling at all this week.
Yeah. Well, this goes right in line with the show. Ed will have his moments, and then Ed will have several weeks where he's like, just tell me what happened. I don't know.
Right. Give me the beats, bro. Just give me the beats.
Right. So they took on each other in a steel cage match. Their previous matches have usually ended in like massive feats of strength and, craziness.
They would have brought the cage down, is what I would have thought going into it.
They reinforced said ring so the ring would not collapse again.
Okay.
They reinforced the cage, is what they were saying.
Okay.
At one point, Big Show took it back to his old WCW days and did a top rope elbow drop.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. Impressive.
Very.
I'm surprised his hip could take it anymore.
I'm sure it didn't.
It didn't, apparently, and I'm going to get into that in a minute.
Damn it.
After the match, which Braun Strowman won, he wasn't finished with Show.
I'm not finished.
See, I just teed it up for him. I was waiting.
Yep.
Although it probably would be better if Ed did it. He's got the voice.
It's all right.
You don't have it in you?
We'll let
what
Cliff
a fucking pussy. Anyways,
Ooh.
yeah, I said
Fight. So them's fighting words.
right. But anyways, the match ends. Braun defeats Big Show. He then decides he's not finished with him.
I'm not finished with you.
Ooh, see? That was a good one. I like that. But
the magic of editing.
He then picked up Big Show and actually said the words, I'm going to put you out to pasture.
Really?
It's time to go to pasture, old man.
You got it. What the hell is it's time to go to pasture? Oh my God, what the hell's Strowman doing? Oh my God! Oh my God!
Scooped him up in a power slam, ran towards the cage, tossed him. Cage wall fell down. Big Show falls out of the ring on top of the cage, dead.
Wow.
Braun's left standing. What you did not see is after Raw went off the air, Big Show kind of was waving goodbye to the fans.
That's sad.
Now, if you were paying attention to social media at all today, there was a lot of praise being heaped on Big Show.
Mm-hmm.
And it made me feel like that might have been it, folks.
Yeah.
Rumor is he's going to be taking time out due to surgery. I believe I had heard something about it being a hip.
Mm-hmm.
I do know that he has been saying for the longest time that when his contract expires, he is not re-signing, which is why he wanted that Shaq match at WrestleMania last year, because his contract ends before the next WrestleMania.
Uh-huh.
So you put two and two together. If he's taking time out for injury, perhaps his contract will expire while he's out.
Right.
Out, yeah.
So perhaps we just saw the last match of Big Show. And if that's the case, the things that he did in that match, if he did need surgery, I mean, kudos to him. Not only did he go out there and put on a decent match, but he put the young guy over.
Right.
And he put him over in a way to where not only did he put him over, but he put over a man by allowing him to destroy probably one of the most well-regarded and biggest giants in the history of the business.
For real.
Sure.
Establishing the next giant.
There you go. Exactly.
Exactly.
Braun Strowman himself on Instagram today posted himself pinning Big Show from last night and put down there, last of a dying breed, you and I, are the last ones. People will never see anything like our feud again. We've had 3 matches where we just torn the house down. I thank you for everything you've done for me, kind of thing.
And actually, they've had 3 really good matches. Like when
They
it comes
did.
to like big men matches, they really had 2 really good matches. Or I'm sorry, 3 really good matches.
I would even venture to say, and you can tell me if you think otherwise, obviously, at me on social media, that Rob guy, or even at the WNA podcast account, if you think I'm wrong here, I believe Braun Strowman owes a huge amount of thanks to Big Show for making that character.
For sure.
Braun, green as goose shit for the longest time.
Definitely.
Now, Big Show did not make him better in that aspect, but what Big Show did do in those matches is teach him how to be a giant. Teach him how to be a monster.
Right.
And work that style of match. And Braun wouldn't have gotten to do it if Big Show wasn't the one willing to be like, yep, superplex me off the top rope.
Right.
Right.
Pick me up and throw me. Throw me through the cage. Stuff like that. You know what I mean? Those 3 matches, when they were announced initially, at least the first one, you're like, whoa, who wants to see Braun versus
That's
Big
going to be
Show?
slow as hell.
Right.
And that match at that pay-per-view turned out to be, wow, that was a pretty fun fucking match.
Right.
Right.
Then the second time they fought was when the ring broke after the superplex. And that match leading up to that moment was a good match.
It was a good match.
With an incredible finish.
So this match, guess who didn't get their shining moment over Braun? Big Show.
Right.
Put him over.
Right.
Say what you want about the guy, but he's been in the business for over 20 years. He's pretty much been on top almost the entire time. He's had his moments, where he had some maturity issues early on, weight issues that he just seemingly couldn't get under control. But if he got those things under control to help his career, it didn't matter at this point. If he's transitioning for life outside of the ring, good on him for getting himself in the shape that he's in. Because a guy that big, you can't carry that kind of weight around for too long.
Right.
Right.
But yeah, so if we have seen the last of the Big Show, and obviously not the last, like you're never going to see the guy again.
Right.
He's 100% going into the Hall of Fame.
But his run is probably over. You may see him once or twice for maybe an appearance or a match, things like that. But if this is it...
Eventually he'll be a GM or some shit.
Yeah. He should have went into like movies and TV shows more, because he's actually a very funny guy. But who knows?
Writers aren't good at making a character that isn't, defined by its general characteristic. You're like, oh, he's a giant. He's just
a
going,
giant.
Yeah.
So
he's got to be a big man.
Yeah. So if this was the end, thank you, Big Show.
Good job, pal.
Yep. Way to go.
Thank you, Big Show. Did they give him one of those at the end of Raw last night?
I don't know. I didn't see the whole clip of him, saying his goodbyes, but I will say this, moving on to our next topic. Social media was not pleased with WWE yesterday leading into Raw.
Not at all.
No, myself included.
Who got shit on?
As soon as I saw this tweet, I immediately, from the WNA account, fired off my thoughts. And WWE yesterday, breaking news around 6 o'clock p.m., said, on Christmas Day and New Year's Day, we will have a live Monday Night Raw. To which I said, wow. Can't even give the boys the day off to be with their family? You're going to have a live show? And not only that, but you're going to have house shows leading into it? You're going to have travel days afterwards? You're going to have house shows the next weekend? Because it's New Year's? And then after that, you're going to go right into what? Probably another run of house shows? Maybe a European tour? Who knows?
Got to build up the Royal Rumble, pal.
Why? I know the answer from you, Ed. I'm going to ask Cliff. because he and I watch the shows religiously every week. Cliff, do you ever watch the Christmas Raw or New Year's Day Raw live?
Never.
Ever, right?
Ever.
And I watch everything.
Right.
I don't watch it live.
So why not just do a tape show?
Exactly. That's what they
Yeah, I don't know
usually
why.
did. They used to do tape shows, and they'd give the boys the, and the ladies the time off to be with their family. Jeff Hardy's wife was tweeting out, wow, Christmas was just ruined.
Right, yeah, his wife she's on Twitter going ham.
Right. Rebby Hardy, of course, saying her piece,
As usual.
Thanks, WWE. But there were some that were coming out like, hey, this is the life we chose. This is what we're doing. They may truly feel that way. And if they do, I'm not going to argue with them.
Right.
But they could also be towing the company line because of the backlash they were getting. But forget about the boys. What about the camera operators?
Yeah, the unsung heroes.
The ring crews.
The ring crew.
The backstage help. The techs that work backstage. The catering people, the
stadium staff.
You're probably going to have to pay some pretty hefty union dues now, Vince, because you're making people work on Christmas.
Ooh, I didn't think of that.
Okay.
Yeah. Double time for everybody. 2 weeks in a row.
Right. So, rumor is that this was not necessarily a WWE call. This was a USA Network call.
Oh.
They point to the fact that Christmas Day and New Year's Day are big sports days. NBA,
True.
NFL, NHL now have games on that. But here's the thing. With those sporting events, one of those teams is already home.
Right.
Right.
Okay? They also have jets at waiting for the visiting team to hop on and fly home if they need to.
That's right.
And probably
Right.
still be home in time the next morning. A lot of these teams, because these athletes are making hand over fist more money than WWE superstars make, will bring family with them on these holidays.
Right. It's a vacation.
Exactly. Now, WWE wrestlers, while some of them do very, very well, a lot of them don't.
Right.
A lot of them, their downside is still a pretty damn good salary for you or I.
Right.
But when you count into the fact that a lot of those travel expenses they have to pay for,
Mm-hmm. They're not making that much money.
there you go. They're not getting their taxes taken out. They're W-2ing that stuff at the end of the year. So, yeah, they might be making a little bit of money on these holiday events. And yeah, WWE, I'm sure they're going to do something to make it up to them.
Christmas bonus.
A big, huge fucking party for them backstage or whatever. But still, you give me the choice between working, taking bumps,
Mm-hmm.
traveling, probably in shitty weather,
Right.
because one of these shows is happening in Chicago.
Oh.
Okay. What are you going to choose?
Yeah.
Be home with your family or out on the road?
I'm going to choose to be famous because that's where the opportunity lies, pal.
Yeah. Says
gonna
Kurt
say-
Hawkins.
Right.
Yeah, you got some people who are gonna jump on the chance, because a lot of those people, this is what they chose. This is what they want to do with their lives, and this is, some of those boys don't even have families. This is their family. So if they're gonna be with anybody, it's gonna be these guys.
But here's the other thing that I have a problem with this. When I have watched these shows, and they've always been on DVR or tape delay, nothing happens on these shows.
Yeah, it's not like
Right.
anything
It's
exciting
never
happens.
anything like awesome.
No. It's usually you get a Santa Claus appearance.
Right.
Hornswoggle discovers the magic of Christmas. The divas used to wrestle as elves, so perhaps this time it'll be the cruiserweights.
Yeah, it'll be a cruiserweight battle royal for sure.
Right, and they'll all be dressed as Santa's little helpers.
Can't wait.
Nothing's gonna happen. They're going to be useless shows. You're not going to advance any major storylines. You're not going to have any big matches because nobody's going to tune in. The ratings on these days are shit. So by telling everybody, hey, we're having a live show, I'm sorry, if I have a choice between spending time with my family or maybe, I don't know, finding something else to entertain ourselves on Christmas Day, which we're probably going to do, or watch wrestling, guess what I'm going to choose? I'm not going to watch wrestling.
No.
No. And if I'm one of your mega fans who watches every week, what is the casual fan going to do?
Yeah.
Ed, what are you going to do? You're the casual fan.
Guarantee you I'm not going to be watching USA.
No.
Either of those days.
Right.
Maybe New Year's, but...
Maybe. But even then, you're going to be preparing to go back to work the next day.
I might have the day after that off, but...
Suck a dick. But you know what I'm saying.
Right.
It's just, I don't know, it's shitty. It just comes off as greedy.
I know.
It's like you're already getting all this money on all the travel anyways and all the house shows and making the SmackDown guys are going to have to leave to head to their arena on Christmas Day to be there the next day for SmackDown.
Yeah, I was actually gonna say, oh, that would be kind of cool that, at least the SmackDown guys don't have to work that day, but they're gonna have to be on the road. So
they're gonna have to be in the airport fighting with people who are trying to get home on Christmas Eve or Christmas night.
Oh yeah,
that's gonna be the worst, dude.
Okay.
I got no envy.
It's just shitty all around.
Sucks.
Glad I don't have to book travel for them.
Yeah. Another thing that I'm glad about is, well, I won't say I'm glad. I think I'm going to check in with Ed on this because we all know of his irrational hatred for this man. Breaking news just before we started recording. Double J Jeff Jarrett on indefinite leave from Global Force Wrestling.
I couldn't be happier.
And this is legit. This is not a storyline.
Fuck that guy.
Okay. Cliff, do you know anything about this?
I heard some rumblings. Something about some personal something, but...
Correct.
I don't give a shit.
Demons in a bottle.
It is being determined as he was asked to take a leave due to, quote, erratic behavior. Now...
His erratic behavior?
His erratic behavior.
Yeah, I didn't hear about that part.
I don't want to.
I thought he had like some, I thought he had like his, his wife or his kids were going through something.
Nope.
All that bleach seeped into his brain.
Perhaps that's true. And that could be leading to what is causing some of this, but I don't know. I don't want to cast aspersions at Mr. Jeff Jarrett. But if you kind of put two and two together with his recent appearance at Triple Mania, in which he had looked to have put on a lot of weight and was stumbling around.
Oh, I gotta see that shit.
Almost fell down some steps. And about halfway through the match, he just started wandering off. Couple that with the fact that Rebby Hardy loves to throw out the fact that Jeff Jarrett had a few DUIs recently.
Yeah.
Put two and two together, you might think as to what some of this behavior may be. Again, I don't know this is true. I'm just speculating with what speculation is out there, okay?
Well, if any of that is true, that's sad.
Yeah.
And, knowing about what, the effects of drugs and alcohol, especially what that can do to a family, and we had this same conversation a few weeks ago. Well, not really a few weeks ago. At this point, a few months ago, when we were talking about Sean Waltman when his issues, and
which he was cleared of.
Which he was cleared of. Guess he really did have the clap.
Have that yeasty infection, son.
In your mouth.
That's not funny. But but yeah, if he did have if he does have issues, it's best for him to to take the time off, whether or not it was voluntary or involuntary. He definitely needs to get that taken care of. Either way, I guess what I am saying is that I'm sad to see him go for whatever circumstances that there may be. However, in retrospect, thank you, Jack Daniels. And not for any personal reasons, but just because just seeing him back in Impact was just why?
Now, a couple of other things have kind of come out about this. Apparently, this is kind of leading to some worry backstage because a lot of people saw this situation with Jeff Jarrett leaving as a potential problem brewing because Ed Nordholm, the guy who is in charge of Anthem Media, technically now owner of Global Force Wrestling, is kind of looked at as somebody who has no clue about the business. And hiring Jeff Jarrett to be the chief creative officer and kind of letting him handle the company, Jeff Jarrett was always looked at as the go-between. Whenever Nordholm wanted something a certain way, Jarrett would talk him down. Well, here's how we want this to go. The whole Broken Hardys situation, a lot of people are saying that the shit that Jeff Jarrett was giving the Hardys, he was just following orders. That this was all Nordholm's request. Now, whether you're following orders or not, loyalty being what it is, that they let you have your old company back, you could have kind of maybe said, hey, Ed, we really don't need this. What are we going to do? Keep the gimmick and throw it on fucking Bobby
People
Lashley,
have tried this.
or...
It doesn't work.
Yeah, come on.
Abyss will be broken abyss now.
Right. But a lot of people are saying that the stress was getting to Jeff and that he definitely needed a break.
Now you're kind of making me feel bad for him.
Well,
right. That's what I said. Wait, there's more?
There's a little bit more. Whether it be that there's an issue with family or not, whether it be there's truly a problem or not, hopefully this time away gives him a chance to
get his shit together.
Pack
it up in a nice little backpack.
But where this has gotten even more interesting is that now they're saying that one source told PW Insider that the GFW Anthem merger was, quote, nowhere near completed.
What?
As has been kind of floated out there publicly. Press release was issued months ago announcing that the merger and claiming that Jarrett had been given a minority ownership in the company as part of the deal of them buying Global Force Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Well, trademarks for Global Force Wrestling and the GFW letters are still owned by Global Force Wrestling LLC.
Okay.
Not Anthem. Okay. So if perhaps Jeff Jarrett does not return, could we be seeing another rebranding of the company where they now have to take the GFW letters away?
What?
And call themselves something else?
Just circle that drain some more, guys. No problem.
The status of Alberto El Patron is still in question. Whereas a lot of people were seeing this as, hey, they don't want him as part of the company anymore. Ed Nordholm was ready to cut ties after the whole airport thing with Paige. Jeff Jarrett was kind of stepping in saying, hey, let's calm down. We want to keep him around. Let's just kind of put him on suspension. But now it's looking like if Jeff's gone, Alberto's deal, which they're saying they believe there's less than a year left on it, maybe the whole when he returns more so becomes if he returns. Jim Cornette just came back into the company.
Motherfucker!
Jim Cornette, longtime ally of the Jarrett family. He's still with the company right now, but a lot of people are concerned that if Jeff's gone,
Jim's not far behind.
Maybe Corny goes. There's also been some interesting developments in that John Big Gaburik, if you remember him from Tough Enough way back in the day, former WWE. Yeah, of course, Ed doesn't remember. He was he was kind of in charge during the Dixie Carter days.
Okay.
And when Anthem took over, he took a huge backseat, and Jarrett took control. Now that Jarrett's gone, supposedly Big met with Anthem Media today, and there's a lot of people concerned that he just gained a lot of power within the company again. So I feel bad because this company, every time it feels like maybe they're going to do something, something else happens, right?
Yeah. 2 steps forward, 3 steps backward.
Now, not to kick a man when he's down,
But
Yes.
some posts over this on social media have been brilliant. Okay. First, I'm going to point to a Rebby Hardy Twitter comment who says, quote, "Y'all tripping if you think I'm going to be anything but laughing at the misfortune of someone who went so out of their way to fuck with my family. Fuck out of here. Not going to get a fake not going to get a fake response out of me. You be doing the same thing if you were in my shoes." Perhaps my favorite Twitter comment, though,
like
comes
to point
from
out a special tweet from Hurricane Helm.
Yes, I was just getting ready to say that.
KARRMAA.
Yes.
Karma.
That was the one I was saving for last. That was my favorite. So I don't know. Tomorrow afternoon, they're supposed to be holding a media call with John Hennigan, John Morrison, Johnny Impact. I'm sure it's still going to happen, but now who's on this call with John? You know, it's no longer going to be Jeff Jarrett in the Triple H role.
Right?
You know, should be interesting. Speaking of people gone, JBL.
Not going to hear me crying about it either. Why do I hate country people?
Finally.
I don't know. You have
Like,
a
they
distaste
put a cowboy
for
hat on, and I'm just going to
cowboys.
fucking hate them. Don't know.
JBL gone from SmackDown.
No more John O'Clock.
No more John O'Clock, Moggle. No more hardest part of the ring, Moggle.
My name is Byron.
Whatever, Moggle. Apparently this has been in the works since almost May, which kind of ties into the Morrow situation.
A little bit.
Now that Morrow's back, JBL had been mentioning that he wasn't going to renew his deal when it ended. The guy has been traveling to shows from Bermuda. He lives in Bermuda. That's a long trip to wherever you're going. And if you lived in Bermuda, why would you want to work anywhere?
Isn't Bermuda a tax shelter?
But anyways, with JBL out, they are replacing him with quite possibly the best possible replacement. Corey Graves
Right.
is now going to be doing Raw and SmackDown as the color commentator.
Double duty, eh?
Double duty.
Wow.
That's right.
Nigel McGuinness is being brought up to take over Corey's color spot on 205 Live and Main Event.
Okay.
Yep.
Corey is now working Raw and SmackDown. So I'm sorry, best color guy in the business right now is Corey Graves, so they couldn't have picked a better person. But this also leads to rumors that perhaps one Mauro Ranallo may be making his way back up to SmackDown. Thoughts?
That would be awesome.
Yeah. Hooray.
Do you want that, or do you want him to stay in NXT?
I mean, I would
Let him do both.
prefer him to stay in NXT, but if Nigel can do NXT and 205 Live, then why couldn't Mauro do NXT and SmackDown?
Precisely.
What do you do with Tom Phillips?
Who?
Who?
You know what I would do with Tom Phillips?
Fire Tom Phillips?
No. Move him over to Raw. Get rid of Michael Cole.
When is he going to retire?
That's not going to fucking happen. for
Michael
another
Cole
15
actually
years.
has a position within the company as he's kind of the one in charge of all the announcers. He gives them their coaching and talking points and what to do and things like that.
Fucking Michael Cole.
Michael Cole.
He's the
Bro.
announcer trainer.
Michael Cole has been in the WWE for over 20 years.
Frosted Tips. Michael Cole.
Frosted Tips.
Okay.
Michael Cole was getting shit on by The Rock.
He could take a step to the back and just produce the announcers. Be a gorilla.
Kevin Dunn can retire, and Michael Cole can have his job.
I don't think Michael Cole has any directing experience.
I don't even fucking care.
He said it can't be any worse than what Kevin Dunn's been doing.
Right. Speaking of can't be any worse, talk about situations that are just getting worse by the day. Sexy Star.
Who?
She of the let me snap your arm off and take it home essay. Was that racist?
I thought you said she wrote an essay about how to break
Essay, yes. I was writing an essay, not as in...
No. Just because you said something in another language doesn't make it racist.
That's right. And I'm allowed to say that.
Yeah, cabron.
Because I'm 1% North African.
1% North African.
Oh, Christ on a bike.
I'm going to use that forever now. That's going to be great. It's going to piss Cliff off every time.
And I can say that.
I can say that because I'm 1% North African.
We're totally putting that on a shirt.
That's right.
That's definitely going on a shirt. Speaking
You need
of,
like a big outline of Africa.
and just a little highlight of the tip of the top.
Right. 1%.
I mean, it's almost, I always ask, how much chocolate syrup does it take to make chocolate milk?
I'm sorry?
That sounds like a riddle.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, think about it.
Oh,
If you
right.
had-
I see what he's... Just a drop of chocolate.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
See?
I got you.
See?
You're still milk.
Cliff's helping me out here.
No, he's shooting you down. No, he's not. You're not even listening.
He's helping me out here. It only takes a little bit of chocolate in that milk to make it chocolatey. Because if there's a drop of chocolate in there, it is still, in essence, chocolate
If I
milk.
pour a
Chocolate
glass
milk.
of milk and put a drop of chocolate in it and mix it up and hand it to my son, he'll go, "Why did you give me plain milk?" And I asked for chocolate milk.
Because then you tell him the story. Son, I put 1% chocolate in it.
There's
That makes
1%
this
chocolate in
chocolate
it. It makes it chocolate milk.
Right? I mean, when you buy juice at the grocery store, half the time it says like 5% juice, right?
But it's still juice.
It's still juice. So, with 1% North African in me, I am still black. I'm gonna start.
What was that North African's name?
I don't know. I haven't looked up that part of my family tree yet.
Nah, you missed it. You'll
North
get it
African?
later.
Was it?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
You'll get it. It'll come.
Yeah. Okay. But either way,
What's a Nubian?
Shut the fuck up.
I need to start changing all my tax forms and everything. I got to take Caucasian off there.
Yeah, you're other now.
I'm other.
Mixed.
I'm not African American. I won't say that.
Yeah. Multicultural.
Multicultural.
There you go.
Other. Not Pacific Islander.
Yeah, you're just other.
I'm just other.
So on Make It Work this week.
Oh, wait a minute. Sexy Star stripped of her championship.
For good reason.
For good reason.
Yeah. Fired from AAA?
I don't know that that's the case, but the Reina de Reinas title was taken off of her.
She's not the reigning Reina de Reinas.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. Not at all.
Are you disappointed, Cliff? Because I know how much you like Sexy Star.
You know what? I'm not disappointed because she did a very douchebag thing. I'm disappointed in her, but not in the decision. Because that was a bunch of bullshit. So, we can get back on our, hashtag fuck Sexy Star, but not in a good way. And, yeah, she can go eat a whole bag of D's.
All right.
All right, let's move things along now. We're going to go to the Make It Work segment of the week. Last week, Clifford L. shittily made the Garbage Man work.
Successfully.
I so wish I would have said no.
Well, you didn't.
In hindsight, I wish I had said to.
After I went back and listened to that episode, I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about?
Yeah, I pretty much stringed that along. I can't believe you guys said it worked.
I was trying to be nice.
Yeah, I'm not going to be nice to you.
Ed, after Cliff's victory last week, so after Cliff's victory last week, Ed now has to make it work with Bastion Booger. That was the winner of the poll. The poll was Bastion Booger, Aldo Montoya, which I voted for because I don't know how the fuck you can do anything with that, and Zach Gowen, which still cracks me up because Cliff's idea of a gimmick was a man with a legitimate disability.
Yeah.
But either way, Bastion Booger won the poll by 1 vote.
Really?
It was between Zach Gowen and Bastion Booger.
Wow.
Formerly Norman the Lunatic in WCW, came to WWE. For a little while there was Friar Ferguson. They made him dress up like a monk and wrestle. They then came up with the gimmick of Bastion Booger, a large, obese man in a gray, nasty singlet with no eyebrows, no teeth. The singlet accentuated the fat rolls on his back to make it look like he had a hump. He came out to one of the worst entrance theme songs I've ever heard. You heard it last week under
just
us
single
talking.
Piano note over
just
and over.
a single piano note and somebody like hawking a loogie. That was his entrance music.
Yep.
What is that a donut?
No, it's not a donut. It's a donut.
The earthquake against Bastion Booger when we return after. Oh, stay with us for a WrestleMania report. Hey, get out of here! Get out of here!
Bastion Booger. So, Ed, make it work.
All right, so it's the gross out gimmick. We got to break this down to its core, right? It's all about grossing people out. So you start off with basically the same sort of thing. I don't have a dude I could say, let's put this on him, because I wouldn't want to do that to any of these workers, honestly. But this is what I had to make work, so it's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
He starts out like, eating the entire craft services table by himself. You got vignettes of him like sleeping with pigs in the mud or whatever, all the standard gross shit. And then a couple months in, you introduce a female character who is sexually attracted to grossness. So now they start doing all the same gross out shit, but it's together, and they're smearing it all over each other, and they're having the time of their lives, but it grosses everybody else out.
I'm grossed out right now.
Exactly. So the second act is we introduce a third character, a sewer creature who has heard tell of the surface girl who loves the grossness and has come to win her heart for his own. But, he's got to beat our Bastion Booger impersonator first, So they blow it off in a Tijuana diarrhea match where the loser would be thrown into a giant vat, which is basically Hormel chili and refried beans, but it looks like it's the contents of all the brothels, bedpans, or the chamber pots in Tijuana.
Are you related to Vince McMahon?
No.
Because I would swear
they'll love it, pal.
This shit.
Right. All right. So they're doing the match, and they wrestle out into the crowd up over to where the vat is, right? And it looks like Bastion Booger is going to go in, but then they both go in at the same time, right? And they're in there, and they're just like, just covered in gross, nasty stuff. And then they look at each other, and they lock eyes, and they realize they're in love, and they start making out in the big vat of nasty grossness. And that would be a legendary blow-off that would last for years. and everyone would hate it because it'd be the grossest thing they'd ever seen. And you could end it two ways. You could have either the girl is like jumps in there with him, and it's like all three of them making out in the grossness, or she could be like spurned by them and be like, oh no, we've got our own thing going on now. So she sets up like, oh, you broke my heart, so I'm going to set up this other tag team to, you know, fight you next as like moving on. So that's my Bastion Booger program.
Okay, I got a couple things to say. First, I'm going to ask a question. Ed, what is the name of this segment?
Make it work.
So, your idea to make it work
harder
was basically to take the character and just create an angle for him.
Crank it up to 1 million. They never gave him an angle. He was just a jobber to the stars.
Second thing I want to say. I'm looking at your iPad right now, and you've got notes there.
Yeah.
I see at least 4 paragraphs, maybe 5. I know all of that you just said is not written there, and you're probably just blazing through this because you got to go home. So, oh, goddamn.
You loved it.
Cliff, do you wanna jump in here on this at all?
So yeah, that was pretty disgusting.
But that's the point.
True. However,
okay, I'm gonna interrupt you. The whole point of this segment,
however, me,
make it work, is you take the gimmick and you modernize it to make it work in today's WWE. You don't just bring back the gimmick and book an angle.
No, I took someone that did nothing with.
You didn't even give a guy to fill in the role.
I did something with them.
Neither did Cliff. No, you didn't.
But
Yeah,
I didn't
did.
just
I
copy
said-
somebody
You said
else's
a
angle.
big guy.
I came up with something
I said the
brand new.
big guy like Lars, whatever the hell his name is.
So fucking irritated right now.
But I said I didn't want to use him again because we had just used him. But I thought he would actually.
He'd work for mine, too.
the game.
Somebody
Well, this
actually
isn't about me.
tweeted at
This
us.
is about
I want to say
Ed.
it was Sheer Wrestling. Their idea for who should play. No, it wasn't Sheer Wrestling. It was Pro Wrestling Polls. Came out and DM'd me with an idea for your garbage man, and I thought it was a brilliant one. Otis Dojovic
Never heard of him.
from Heavy Machinery.
Oh.
Isn't that the
Big,
heavy machinery
big
guy?
one. Got
Yeah, that's
charisma.
exactly right.
Yeah, exactly.
That's who I
Fucking
meant.
Piece of shit.
Well, we'll take the other guy from Heavy Machinery and make it mine.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, Cliff.
How about it?
Yes or no?
So since we're gonna lean on yeah, I'm just,
Oh
I'm
my
just gonna
God.
say yeah. Why not? Make the shit work, man.
Thank you, Cliff.
You know, I mean, you said it. Does he know Vince McMahon? Is he Vince? And obviously that's something that you thought Vince would want to see on his television screen. So, you know, they're trying to get away from the PG thing a little bit. I think it'll work.
Oh my God.
You have never seen that before ever on television.
Actually, I probably have. How many times have they dumped fake shit on people in a WWE ring?
But they've never made out in it.
Oh my God.
So true.
See, and here's why next week, I think we definitely need to have a tiebreaker for this segment. Okay? Because I want to...
I'm only voting this way strictly because I know how
Oh
much
my
you
God.
want a tiebreaker.
I want to vote no. I want to vote no. So there will be a yes and a no.
Is there a better way out of it that you can think of?
No.
I love defeat in your voice.
Shitty gimmick. It's so bad. There's no way out of it. So, by disqualification,
I'll take it.
Ed Roland wins the Make It Work segment. So, with that, Ed now gets to pick what I must make work next week. And I can...
Hey, how about this? Since we didn't get a chance to get him on this week, we had a little technical difficulties. How about we make old punk ass Fred make something work next week?
Ooh.
Yes, for those that don't know, we actually attempted to get Fred Robinson from the
Wretched Wrestling
Wrestling Podcast, excuse me,
Wretched Wrestling
on the show to act as our tiebreaker during this segment. We have a plan in future episodes now to open this up to not just other podcast world order people, but you, the listeners. We want to have a listener on every week to act as our tiebreaker for the segment. Hear us go through the gimmick, talk about what we're going to do, and be that third vote in the event that, like today, I want with every fiber of my being to vote no. And Cliff votes yes, we'll need a tiebreaker. So we don't run into this having to find a way to allow Ed to pick my gimmicks for next week. So, yes, we could potentially do this to Fred next week, or we do it to me. Either way... Let's go, Ed. What are your gimmicks for next week that are going up on the poll?
I didn't choose singles gimmicks.
Oh, that's okay. No one said you had to. So, gimmick number 1 is...
The Dynamic Dudes.
The Dynamic Dudes. Johnny Ace.
Wow.
Shane Douglas. Skateboards. Neon colors.
So 80s.
Hey, that actually...
Yeah, I can already think of something that I would use for that. So that's a pretty good one. Dynamic Dudes. Ed, gimmick number 2.
The Dungeon of Doom.
Oh, fuck. The Dungeon of Doom. And you know what? You could pretty much pluck anybody from Dungeon of Doom out and throw them in this poll. Because I'd say about 90% of them were just shit gimmicks.
Kamala the Butcher.
Come on. Zodiac.
Yeah, Zodiac.
The Shark. The Yeti. I could keep going. Humorous. You know? So yeah, Dungeon of Doom. All right, Ed. Gimmick number 3.
Make it a
the
good
Dicks.
Oh, shit! The Dicks! Oh, the Dicks. No,
The
not
Johnson
them.
brothers.
He's talking about Chad.
No?
And I can't think of the other one.
I don't remember his name
It was
either.
Chad, I want to say Chad Dukes.
Something like that.
And you remember Tank Tolan from OVW? They came up to the main roster. It was Andy and Chad. That's what it was.
Yeah.
The Dick Brothers. They were like Chippendale dancers.
Yep.
They came to the ring in suspenders.
Oh, those
Jacked.
guys.
They looked like they were on roids, but they were all of about like 5'5". And they would come to the ring with baby oil.
Yeah.
They were
And they
Tony
would
Nese.
spray baby oil on themselves. The Dicks. A gimmick
yes,
that...
I do remember those guys. I thought you were talking about the
No,
Johnsons
that
from
could go
TNA.
on a poll too someday. But no, the Dicks, that gimmick probably lasted all of about like 3
2
weeks, if that. The Dicks. Oh, God. So, the options going up on the poll, no pun intended, with the Dicks. The Dynamic Dudes, the Dungeon of Doom, and the Dicks.
3D.
3D.
I was going to say, were you trying to get some
Going up on the
alliteration?
poll.
Maybe a little bit.
Is the poll going on that Rob guy, or are we putting it up on yours?
Who was it on last week?
It was on mine. Because I picked, or no, you picked for Cliff. It was on mine. Let's put it up on Lego My Edro.
All right.
This week.
Rock on.
Ed is going to put the poll up. He's going to pin it to his...
I always put the poll up.
Yeah, great. He's going to pin it to his Twitter feed. So, at Lego My Edro, LEGG0.
You all follow me already anyway.
MYEDDR0W. The poll will be up there. We will be retweeting it. Because we record this on Tuesdays, I waited until the show went up on Friday. We got half as many votes as we got the week before. So I'm just going to have you put it up, tonight or tomorrow. That way we can have it up for a full week, like we did before. Have it
Sounds
end
good.
at noon on Monday if you can. So, yeah. Oh, God. The dicks. I'm really fucking pissed at you.
Now you know how it feels.
Your shitty-ass job with Bastion Booger. But I can't think of anything else either, so it doesn't matter. I had a sweet idea for Aldo Montoya, so hopefully I get that someday. I have an idea for Aldo that might actually fucking work.
I actually have a good one, too.
Yeah.
I bet we have the same one. I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't want to say it because I don't,
Yeah, because we have to write it down on
We
it.
do, yeah. Cliff, do you have anything to add? Aside from the Dicks, was your favorite tag team ever?
Well, that's because they were named
Dick.
after me. Yeah.
No, you were A.B. Johnson. Oh, balls Johnson.
Hey.
Cliff would soar down from the sky, floating on his balls.
Look like right, flap over like a flying
pants.
squirrel. Oh God.
Yep.
I remember that.
The Dicks.
Hysterical.
All right. At this point, I'm fucking
What's gonna
done.
win by default? Time to go home.
I am
And
fucking done. I'm disgusted. I've had dicks all over me.
Super pause.
It's time to go home.
I'm Ed Roland.
I am Clifford L. Johnson.
And I'm Robb English, saying to you, when life hands you adversity, always kick out at 2. This was a test of the emergency broadcast system. This is only a test.
And the returning Kenny Omega will get the final word tonight after his team victorious in our main event.
I am not going anywhere. I am back. 2017 will still be Kenny Omega's year. It will still be Bullet Club's year. It will still be the elite's year. I will take over Japan. I will take over America. And yes.
Whoa.
Kenny, listen, that was a great speech that you had going on there, and I know that everybody is elated. They're excited to have Kenny Omega back in New Japan Pro Wrestling. But Kenny, you forgot to mention one very important thing. Not just very important, but the important thing. What? And that is that Adam Cole is in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Adam Cole is the first ever 3-time Ring of Honor World Champion. And Kenny, with all due respect, you're going to have a great year, but the year of Adam Cole, that's the year that everybody is going to be talking about. Adam Cole, baby! Hey, that's nice, Adam, but these people are Japanese. They don't understand you.
He's got a point.
So, I will end this now. Everybody, ROH fans, New Japan fans, goodbye, mwah, and good night. Bang!
Well, is there trouble in paradise here with these two dynamic forces within Bullet Club?
And guess who's in the middle? Those Young Bucks.
Well, again,
Oh, okay.
we're Squaresville now. That's
All right.
good.